Hey guys, and welcome back to Sailing with the Jameses. If you are new here, we are a family of 3 who live full-time out on the ocean on our sailboat. Last week we returned home to Darwin after an epic family road trip all the way to Perth and back. Once we stepped back on board, it was straight into boat life. Water runs, topping up the tanks, and catching up on laundry after life on the road. Now with the boat almost ready, we have a few things left to do and it's time to set off again. This week we're fueling up, washing down, and preparing for the next leg of our adventure, where we'll be punching into some weather. And stick around because we've also got a big update to share on the trawler project. Let's set sail, guys! We arrived back in Darwin yesterday, stocked up on a month's worth of food, and this morning we've slipped the mooring at Dinah Beach and we're headed around to the other side of the harbour. Goodbye, Dinah Beach! Headed to Ferny Bay! Say bye, Dinah Beach!
You've been good to us.
Real good. Yeah, most definitely. So guys, one engine, idling along, 7.1 knots. Woo! Just kidding. We've caught the tide. Look at the tide on that buoy. It's whipping past. We're just whipping with the tide down around the corner. This is why. Yeah, Darwin tides.
7.7 knots. Idling.
Imagine if we timed it wrong and we were pushing against this.
Oh, we'd have to have both engines on, I think.
Oh.
We wouldn't have to. We'd just be going really, really slow on one.
7.7! Woo! I wonder what we would do if we turned the engines off.
Yeah. Probably like at least probably 4.
After spending the night anchored in Ferny Bay, the next morning we make our way into the fuel wharf. Helping washing the decks? You are stoked! You've been a good helper. Alright, so today is departure day. So right now we're just at the fuel wharf in Darwin outside Cullen Bay Marina. We're putting on some water, filling up the 4 jerrys as well. And then after we're done with the water, we're going to put diesel on as well. Fill the fuel tanks up. And Darwin likes to, they burn a lot of bushfires here and our decks are white, so slowly they've been turning grey and they haven't looked too bad. Now that we're washing the decks, it's amazing how much, when you don't notice it, slowly becoming darker in colour. There's a lot of dirt on our decks, a lot of dirt. So we're giving the decks a fresh clean, hosing off all the winches and everything, just giving the boat a good freshwater wash. Time for the diesel. All right, fuel is all on. 400, almost $500 worth of fuel.
Yeah, it's actually probably a bit cheaper than the camper. So yeah, especially if we get the sails up a fair bit. At the moment, there's no wind and it's quite hot. So we'll create a bit of wind with the engines, and yeah, we're not positive where we're stopping. We have a rough route that we're doing, but it all depends on the weather.
We'll see where we end up and see what anchorages are around, pretty much.
Yeah, when you go against the trades, you don't want to have set points. If the weather's still good, you keep going as far as you can, and if it's not, you stop and take it easy.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but it is like 9:30 in the morning here in Darwin, and we are both sweating.
It's warm, so let's get out of here and some cooler weather.
And we are off. Goodbye, Darwin. You have well exceeded our expectations, and one day we will be back for sure. Definitely. And if you guys are cruising and you want to put Darwin on your list, we'd highly recommend it. So neat here. So we are just coming up to the Vernon Islands now. This morning we were earlier than we got everything done a lot faster than we thought. We put on water, we put on fuel, and we got in and out way faster than we thought. So we came out of the bay and we idled out of the bay, and the tides here are massive in Darwin. Like, they're 9-meter tides at the moment, and right now the tide has just starting to change, and we are just starting to take off. So we're just rounding, we're catching the tide into the next bay, and then hopefully we've timed it right, we're gonna get the tide out through the opening as well. The only issue we're having at the moment is that there's a bit of unforecasted wind about. There was absolutely supposed to be zero wind, 0 to 3 knots, and right now it's looking like we've got 10 knots of breeze, which isn't predicted and it isn't on the charts. So it's actually dead on the nose at the moment. So that's the only thing, unpredicted wind. And then hopefully this dies off soon, and the whole rest of the forecast we shouldn't have any wind, and we should be able to get on through just fine and not push anything. Alright guys, so a quick update on what's happening with the trawlers, or specifically just one trawler. We're only going to be buying one. We just thought let you guys know what's happening. So our plan was to buy a prawn trawler, specifically the Lavelian, and turn it into a long-range expedition cruiser.
So we weren't specifically looking for trawlers, we were looking for a long-range sturdy expedition cruiser that could handle weather. The trawlers just fit the bill in our price bracket. So it was really what the trawler offered, and we always love doing out of the box. You can buy them ready done, but A, they're very, very expensive, and B, we just love trying different ways to achieve the same results. And so that's where the trawler idea really excited us.
Yeah, and it'd be quite unique. Like, we just felt like it would be quite a unique, quite a fun project, quite awesome, and yeah, just really awesome. Where we hit a roadblock, which is the major roadblock that has stopped us, is insurance.
Yeah, so there's only one insurance company that will insure us, and that insurance company isn't accepted in the major marinas on the east coast of Australia. So we haven't checked around the world, but if it's not accepted there, it's the only one that's not accepted. So we don't need to name names. You can just go on to, say, the Bundaberg Marinas website or Townsville Marinas website,
it's the only one,
and it's listed there.
Specifically listed as the one that they do not accept.
Do not accept. So, it just sort of, it was very hard to future-proof the project because, as all you know, I think in all aspects, insurance is getting harder and harder and harder. And if it's already hard right at the beginning before we invest, considerable amount of time and money into it, it just may not be the best result. So unfortunately,
we've come to a roadblock, a hurdle, and it looks like we cannot jump that hurdle.
No.
And we've spoken to, I would say, handfuls and handfuls and handfuls of insurance companies and brokers, and we've tried and we've spoken to brokers, and
we've had a heap of help. We're really grateful. There's been a lot of you guys at home that have had great suggestions. There's also been people who have known other people who have given it a go for us, which has been absolutely fantastic as well. So people, family members who are brokers, they've then contacted us and said, we'll try for you. So it's been absolutely fantastic. And one of the main insurances we were going for was third-party insurance. And generally speaking, brokers don't like to help you with that because there's no real commission in it for them. But we had a lot of brokers contact us and give it a go for us as well, which is very grateful. Yeah, thank you very, very much. You gave it a red hot crack. But unfortunately, the only option we had to keep insurance was to keep it in commercial survey.
And unfortunately, to keep it in commercial survey, we'd have to have the minimum manning, and unfortunately, Charlie doesn't count.
The minimum manning's 3. So there's myself and Kate, and for the third person, we just don't want to always have to have a third person on board if we want to go anywhere, just for insurance purposes. So it would have cost a lot more money to keep it in survey. We also didn't want to keep it as a fishing boat. We wanted to take all that gear off and put a heap of toys on. That's what it offered us. Great weight carrying capabilities to put, different, a tender for every occasion. I had very big plans.
We could dive gear, paddle boards, you name it. We could, and it would allow us to do pretty long range cruising and go off to pretty remote places and be self-sufficient, which is what we were really after. But basically, we got back from a lot of the insurance agencies. There's a blanket statement, and it basically says they cannot insure any ex-prawn trawler. So if we were to convert the prawn trawler into a private liveaboard vessel, her bones are still a prawn trawler.
And they can't offer any kind of terms at all. So it wouldn't matter what we did. We contacted marine surveyors to see if they knew and had done anything in the past as well. We tried all sorts of different avenues. And the thing is, we even had some people show us where they had done the same thing only a few years earlier, and we contacted the very same insurance companies, and unfortunately now their underwriters have changed the terms, and it was a no-go. So
it was crazy. Companies that we contacted, they had a piece of paper that said they had insurance for their vessel, but if we're to start new now, and to get a new insurance with them, it's a no-go.
We even contacted people who have done it before and have existing vessels, and a few of them expressed their concerns. One guy, he wasn't very happy with his insurance provider, but he was too afraid to change because he felt once he went out of being insured, he wouldn't be able to get it back into being insured, if that makes sense. So once he rendered one policy with one provider, he may not be able to get that back from that provider or get insurance from anywhere else, and his premiums keep going up, and it's certain things he wasn't 100% happy with, but he's stuck there in case he ends up being in a position that we're in now, where we've found an awesome boat in quite good condition that we're prepared to spend quite a bit of time and money on.
So basically, he doesn't want to leave his current policy to go to another one and then go. He's afraid that they won't accept him back.
But it's been a great learning experience. It's been fantastic. I've learned heaps about it, and the underwriters and the terms, and what insurance companies, the realms they have to work in and stuff. And we've been very grateful for a lot of people who've invested a lot of time into us, helping us through this. And unfortunately, no one's been able to get any reward from it because we haven't been able to get any kind of insurance.
Brokers who have spent an hour on the phone with us talking to us about like single screw, double, twin screw, bow thrusters, what underwriters look for, what does what, like how they. It's mind-boggling what they do for underwrite, what they look for and stuff. But we've learned heaps.
But unfortunately, even with doing all of that stuff. It's a no-go for us at this stage. we haven't given up totally in our search, for what we want. But we may have to pivot. We're not quite sure where we're pivoting to. I really was kind of focused in one way, and I was already planning on different tender retrieval systems and bits and pieces.
We've got the design in our heads laid out for how we transform it,
where we were going to do it, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have to sort of just sit down, do a bit of a reset, and as soon as we figure out where our next direction is, we'll let you know.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we've come to an end at that road with the trawlers.
Yeah.
And we're pivoting.
Yeah. Somewhere. Yeah.
Well, and
that's basically the update, guys. Sorry it's not as happy as what we hoped, but it was going to be a very large boat and a very big project. So you never know. Maybe it's just not meant to be at this stage, and there's something better out there. We still want something that can go off the beaten track and be a bit more remote and do a bit of exploring, and we're hoping to get something that we can extend our seasons in. So this boat is perfect for a seasonal boat. It's very fast, it gets us there. We want another boat that has heating and cooling and a few of the extra mod cons that we can extend our season in different areas and go off the beaten track. So we'll keep looking. We'll try and look out of the box. We'll see what happens, and we'll keep you posted.
And that's the end of the trawler saga.
Yeah? It is. Alright, we're off to Queensland.
Woohoo!
Look out.
Back to the Great Barrier Reef!
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and drop us a comment below. We would love to know what you think about the outcome of the prawn trawler saga. A huge thank you to our amazing Patreons. We couldn't do this without you. Your support keeps these productions going. Thank you guys so much. If you would like to join the J Crew and get some awesome perks, you can become a YouTube member for early access to videos, or check out our Patreon through the link provided in the pinned comment. Tiers start at just $2 a month. We really appreciate each and every one of you for being here and watching this video, and we will see you all same time next week. Bye everyone.